Right now it's crazy. But on the horizon, things are looking good. Joe Biden recently said that by May, everybody will have access to vaccines. We have cases dropping. Outside is getting warm. We don't want to have another summer like 2020. We want to be outside on a beach. And I hear you, but we need to be as safe as possible when we travel. Welcome back, y'all. This is Chu here from Choose to Explore, where I teach you to see the world and save a dollar. Today, we got another Travel Tip Tuesday, where I give you guys everything you need to know if you plan to travel during the COVID-19 pandemic. Tip number 1. If this is domestic or international travel, you still need to know what the rules and restrictions are. Really important information for you to know are cases of COVID in that country, how safe it is with COVID. Do you need to quarantine on arrival? Do you need a negative COVID test on arrival? And if you do need that negative test, how far in advance you need to take the test in order to get on that plane? I don't want y'all out here acting a fool and get denied from going on the trip. During these times, you have to plan accordingly. To be prepared, I use Skyscanner. They have up-to-date rules and restrictions for Americans going to international destinations. Just follow along and I'll show you. Alright, so I go to the skyscanner.com website. I scroll down a little bit to right here where it says get the COVID-19 travel info you need. View the live map. Now, Skyscanner is really dope because it gives you up-to-date information. For example, here in the US, traveling to all these countries, green, yellow, and red tell you the different restrictions. So red means major restrictions, yellow means moderate restrictions, and green is very low restrictions. And say I want to go, let's say I want to go to Mexico. That's a hot spot right now. So it tells me what I need to know. And I can subscribe and use this to get travel updates. Because these travel updates are always changing right now during these times. Or if you don't know where your country is on the map, you can come here and search it. Say I want to go to Jamaica. I'll type it in there, tells me moderate restrictions and what I need. Passengers residing, whatever. It gives me all the restrictions that I need right here. And then I can subscribe to travel updates right here where I put in my email and it gives me the information. So for me personally, Skyscanner is my go-to. But for the most up-to-date resources, look at the CDC website. Also, really important information to know are curfews. I can't tell you how many people go places and don't even know that there's a curfew. In some countries right now, they have 12 p.m. curfews. I'm talking about middle of the day curfews. Y'all not going to the clubs because the curfew's at 12 o'clock. And if you know about these curfews, you can plan your day accordingly. You might have to wake up at 7 o'clock in order to get all the activities that you want to do for the day. And in many countries where there are curfews in place, really look at it all-inclusive. Now, me personally, I'm not for all-inclusives, but if you got to be in the house at 12, you want to be somewhere where you can do something. And really why I love that Skyscanner resource is because day to day, every country is changing on their restrictions. Once you know those restrictions for your countries, you can now pick your destination. Right now is a really good time to book flights because even if you do want to cancel, a lot of airlines have no change fees. So what that means is you book it. And if the cases increase or the restrictions increase or change, you can cancel at any time and not have to worry about you losing your credit. And airlines are doing different things to help prevent the spread of COVID-19 on the airplanes. As of right now, only Delta blocks that middle seat. So if that is important for you, fly Delta, baby. I know that also JetBlue has an option to book the empty seat next to you. I know it is an additional fee, but you can do that. But I know there's a lot of research that has come out about traveling on these airplanes during the COVID-19 pandemic. These research studies show there's a near zero risk of catching COVID if everybody on the airplane wears a mask. Near zero means 0.003% chance of catching COVID due to the air filtration units and onboard air circulation. So if you're worried about that middle seat, research shows that it is safe to fly if everybody wears a mask on the airline. Plus, in a lot of countries, you need to have a negative COVID test in order to get in. So if you're on that plane, you should feel reassured, at least a little bit, that everybody at least showed a negative COVID test beforehand. The next important thing, but it goes without saying, please wear your mask, please socially distance. Remember that you are a guest in these people's countries. Please follow their rules and regulations, and please keep them safe. The next important step is finding where you can get medical care or testing for COVID-19. Currently, as of January 2021, you need a negative COVID-19 test in order to get back into America, or even just to get on that plane back to America. So in order to plan appropriately, you should know where you can get that COVID-19 test, so you're not scrambling around on that last day looking crazy, or end up spending more money because your COVID results didn't come in time.
And I'm also going to inform you guys on a really cool website that I just found out about called Test for Travel. So internationally, anywhere in the world, you can find out where COVID testing sites are. So for example, I'm going to Tulum, Mexico. I type it in, and then it also specifies the specific kind of test I need. So say I know I need a PCR test, and I hit search. And then right here, it gives me all of the PCR tests that I need into Mexico, and it tells me the different types that I need as well. So it also gives a map where I can look and see where exactly these tests are. And this is a really, really, really good resource to use internationally or even in the States if I know that I need to take a COVID test in order to get into or out of a country.
And even though you are traveling, my next tip is really making sure you're packing thoroughly. In packing thoroughly, what I mean by that is making sure you're prepared. Even though you are traveling, I want you to minimize the amount of unnecessary travel you can. So in terms of first aid kits, snacks, clothing, hair products, just if you can, put it all in your bag beforehand so you don't have to go outside to find it. And another important part is making an itinerary, planning, and being organized. A lot of tourist attractions are limited in their space or capacity, or are only working on reservations. For example, El Yunque in Puerto Rico, which is the only US national rainforest in the national parks, is open, but you need a reservation to get in. Unfortunately, a lot of restaurants have ended up closing or are only working on reservations right now. So a lot of these places that you've heard about, you can't even get into. Make sure that you call them so your whole vacation isn't ruined because you didn't end up going to a place that you planned to, or you end up scrambling and eating something that you really don't like. Also in that regard, a lot of hotels and Airbnbs are working at limited capacity as well. COVID-19 has changed everything in terms of travel. You might not be able to get a place that you typically would. During the pandemic, especially if you're doing an Airbnb, I really look at how they are going about cleaning and ensuring safety during these times. I want to know what the cleaning protocols are if I'm renting an Airbnb. The proximity and also the safety. If I'm in a hotel, I want to know, is the pool open? How are they doing breakfast? Can I use the gym? All of these are important things to consider, especially if you're paying for all of these amenities for a hotel. To entice a lot of travelers, I know that a lot of resort and hotels are offering COVID tests if you stay there. In terms of convenience, reliability, and safety, this is really something to consider. COVID-19 has changed everything in terms of travel. But I still want you to go out there and enjoy yourself as long as you are comfortable with it and keeping everybody safe at the same time. Thank you guys so much for checking out my channel. This is Chu here from Choose to Explore, where I teach you to see the world and save $1. Please be sure to stay tuned and check in some of my other content.